Hi there, it's Caroline here, and today I wanted to talk to you about meditation. Now, this is something that I was introduced to probably about 7-8 years ago. It was a time when I was working in a corporate job, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It wasn't 9 to 5, more like 9 till 8, something like that. And I had a very busy life and busy at work, but also then I had quite a busy social life. I lived on my own, and I didn't feel like being at home alone was a good way to be spending my time, so I had lots of social engagements. So I was out pretty much every night of the week doing something, whether it was playing badminton, going to the pub, going around to a friend's for dinner. Most weekends I was booked up for months in advance at the weekends, going away places, visiting friends again, doing exciting stuff. It was a good life, it was fun, but I had very little time for myself, very little time to just be and just slow down and stop and take in the world and what was around me. I was so busy, always late, always rushing everywhere, trying to fit so much in, that my mind was just a complete whirlwind. And I was forever forgetting stuff or going to bed late at night and just stuff whizzing around in my head, and I couldn't quite find a way to stop it, and it was exhausting, mentally exhausting. And so my friend Anya, her brother, actually introduced us to mindfulness meditation, and a chap called John Kabat-Zinn, and he took us through an introductory mindfulness exercise to do with tasting a raisin. It was very fascinating, about very, very slowly taking one raisin and just like being with that raisin. It was a very strange experience for somebody who'd never done that before, but it kind of sparked my curiosity. So after that first session, I then looked up John Kabat-Zinn online on YouTube and started listening to some of his breathscape and soulscape and all the bodyscape meditations, and I really enjoyed his body scan because it was an opportunity to just sit down, sit still, lie down for a while and just bring awareness to different parts of your body, and I found it very relaxing. But I really struggled to do it. I really struggled to find the time, and every time I sat down to do it, my mind was just like, oh, brilliant, you've got time to think now. Don't forget this. Have you put this on the shopping list? You've got to go and see so-and-so. Have you sent so-and-so a birthday card? And just all this stuff going around in my head. And one of two things would happen. I would either just, half the bodyscape, the meditation was about 40 minutes long, and it was difficult to find a 40-minute slot in my day to make time for this. And so I would either be lying down and get halfway through it and have sorted out my shopping list and my birthday cards list and remembered 5 other things I wanted to do and had to write them down, or I would have fallen asleep because I was that tired. And so I found it really difficult to build meditation into my daily routine. It was something I just couldn't envisage doing daily. But fast forward now a few years, and so last year when I found the SFM, which I signed up for because I wanted to start a business and to earn money online. But one of the things that they got me back into, which really surprised me, was meditation and doing it daily. So building it into your daily routine. So preferably at least once a day, either in the morning or the evening or both, and for a minimum of 10 minutes. That's all it needs to be. And so I started doing meditation again, and I tell you what, it has been so powerful and so useful to me. Now I've been doing it for 8 months now, every day, as part of my getting up in the morning routine. And some days are better than others. Some days I really get into it, some days I might sit there for longer, and some days it just helps me write my shopping list or my to-do list or whatever. But it's just that silence, just that sitting for a period of time and just letting your body relax and letting your mind relax as much as you can. And stuff comes up. Sometimes I have the most brilliant brain waves, or it really reminds me of things, the things that I've been subconsciously thinking about, what birthday cards or whatever it is that I need to remember to do. That's when it comes up, and that it reminds me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's it, I need to put that on my to-do list. And sometimes I have a pad and pen next to me and I write down things that come up during that meditation. But I find it's a really good way to just rebalance myself first thing in the morning, centre myself, and it sets me up so well for the day. Because I notice quite often that when I don't meditate, that half the day's gone by before I've even started, and I'm doing things unconsciously. And it may be that the tasks that I'm doing aren't the ones that are going to move me forward in my life and in my business. It's what you might call busy work, stuff where you're doing stuff and you feel good because you've achieved something, you've taken some action, but it's not actually the things that are important. And so what I find with the meditation, with that sitting still at the beginning of the day, it really helps me figure out for that day what's important for me to do today, what's the one thing I need to do, so that once that's done, everything else is a bonus, effectively. So now there's lots of different ways you can meditate, and I don't know if you've tried meditation, but there's a number of different apps you can use for meditation, and I've been introduced to a few, but so there's one called Calm, which I tried for a little bit. I think there's one called Headspace as well that some of my friends in the SFM use regularly. But for me, I didn't get on with the apps. I don't know why, no particular reason. But I found a podcast called Mindful in Minutes by a woman called Kelly, and I listened to it either on Spotify or on Apple iTunes. I think she's got it on all the major platforms, and she releases a new one once a week typically, but she's got a whole back catalogue, and it covers all sorts of topics. So all sorts of different types of meditations as well, guided meditations. So sometimes they're ones that involve like body scans or bringing awareness to the body. So there's ones on manifestation as well, manifesting joy, manifesting gratitude, for peace and contentment, things like that. They've got ease into sleep ones. So sometimes at night, if my mind is still buzzing, I might do the ease into sleep meditation. I did it last night, and I think I only got about a couple of minutes into the meditation before I fell asleep. But and it's all free, it doesn't cost anything, and they're usually between 10 and 15 minutes, so not very much, and I think if you try, you can probably carve out 10 or 15 minutes out of your day, preferably first thing in the morning, as I say, because I think it really does set you up well for the day. But I urge you to give it a try. Maybe try it for a day, maybe for a week, and just, even if it means getting up 15 minutes earlier in the morning, and just putting on one of these meditations. And don't judge yourself while you're doing it. Don't judge yourself if you get distracted and you realise you're not actually listening to the meditation because your mind's going off everywhere. It does take some practice to get yourself into that space, but I tell you what, it really has been so powerful for me. Now the most powerful example has been this week. I don't know if you've seen my previous emails, but I'm actually in the Netherlands at the moment, because my best friend's mum actually passed away on Friday, and so I travelled out last week, last Thursday, and was able to see her on Friday in hospital, and I was actually with her when she passed early on Saturday morning. Now it's been a very emotional time. She was family to me, she really was, and so it was sad, very sad that she passed, but on the other hand, she's been in a lot of pain recently and has been suffering quite a lot, so it was quite a relief in some ways. But naturally, after such an event, emotions, feelings are all over the place, and she leaves behind her a son who's my housemate, my very best friend of mine, and I wanted to be there for him, but there was just so many emotions in him and emotions in me that were bubbling up. And I actually had to take some time out. I think it was Saturday afternoon. There were people visiting the house. We've got a coffin in the house, which is new to me, a whole new experience. And I just came up here and just sat on the bed and just meditated for 10 minutes. And it just really, really brought me back down to earth. I could step back and I could see the feelings and emotions that were going on. and see what was bringing them about, and it really gave me perspective on what was going on, enabled me to let go of a lot of stuff, and when I came back downstairs I was much more grounded and much more able to be there and able to be present, able to support everybody else. And it just, I never would have done that before. That to have that skill that I've now been developing over the past 8 months, because I've been meditating daily, it's been easier for me to get into that space, and it was so powerful. It's really difficult to describe what it did, but it was just, yeah, it's really changed the way I've been approaching the last few days in funeral preparations and things like that, and looking after myself and realising that my own needs are important, and all sorts of other stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so meditation, I know it sometimes has a bit of a bad name or a bit of a bad rep, you know, some people think it's a bit woo-woo, or some people think you've got to sit with a candle, or sit in a darkened room and cross your legs and go or whatever. There's so many different forms of meditation, so many different types. And as I say, mindfulness meditations tends to be, or is what I found that works for me. But even if it's just sitting silently with your back straight on a chair, preferably sitting up rather than lying down, because then your body learns that this kind of posture is a meditation pose rather than lying down. Your body associates with going to sleep. But just sitting down quietly, closing your eyes, and just being present, just tuning into your breathing is normally the first place to start, and just being aware of your breaths coming in and out, or just listening to sounds around you, listening to the birds or the cars or the traffic or whatever it is that you can hear wherever you are, because there's never a true silence, is there? And if your mind wanders, that's absolutely fine. Our minds do that, but it's just about, as soon as you become aware that your mind has wandered, just bringing it back to the centre and carrying on, and just see how that feels for you. Be interested to hear your thoughts, and be interested to hear, if you've given it a try, how it works for you and what it brings you. Or if you find it difficult, that's fine. It's as I say, it takes practice, but it is worth sticking with, definitely, in my personal opinion. But there we go, folks, that's what I wanted to talk about today, and I wish you very well. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video, hopefully. Alright, take care, bye bye.